Crash Report is intended for mature audiences only. If you are going to act like a baby, please turn this podcast off right now.
Hello and welcome to the latest edition of the Crash Report. And I feel like my cam is like really close to me, but I guess I'll just deal with it.
What's up, Gainer?
Do you?
Hello, and I feel like we haven't done the show in forever, but it's really only we took a week off.
Yeah, well, we haven't seen Andrew in 3 months. We've been working off the backlog.
Right, we have been working off the backlog.
Off the backlog, if you know what I mean.
We've been standing in the Lake Champlain, rotating a log with our feet pedaling as if we were a little Super Mario. And
Yeet!
before we get too deep in the show, I will say I am wearing my new Trash Cast shirt.
Well, I can't wait to see it in 10 seconds once the delay hits.
Me too.
And
Yeah,
I
no,
like it a
wait.
lot. I like it a lot, and you can get your very own at the merch store in the Redbubble.
Wow, that looks really good.
Thanks.
Isn't the Redbubble thing with all the pornography?
Yes, that's
You guys-
Redbubble Tube.
Matt and I look identical, and Austin looks much different.
How do we look identical? What?
You and I look the same in that image as we do now. I'm even wearing the same hat.
Oh, I see.
Austin looks like a different human.
Meh.
Yeah.
I don't think it's as drastic as people make it out to be. I've been around Austin a lot where he will have shorn his hair, and people will go, "Whoa, really?
Well, it's
Whoa,
bizarre.
well,
I
because
didn't
Matt
even I didn't recognize you."
Matt
You
can see
didn't-
deeply into my true self.
Matt
But
sees
he doesn't
auras.
see the changes.
Matt just sees everyone's auras and chakras. I knew Austin for the longest time looking like he does now with the shaved face. So I got very accustomed to the long hair and the beard. So when it comes back, I feel like I jumped through a time portal. And sometimes I'm not sure if it's really him or not.
And I also have known Austin for a long time, and I have feelings about his hair as well. But moving on. Did anything important worth mentioning happen? Because we got a packed show tonight, and I don't want to bullshit about Austin's hair for the whole time.
Well,
Do you have any personal updates we need to share with the audience?
I've just been busting ass making shit.
Have you really
Trying to-
made anything? Do you have anything to show for it?
I got a couple good things in the toilet I made a couple nights ago. Yeah, I've been making we've been making the new Andrew Says series on the what's the other show called that isn't the Crash Report?
It's called the
The
Fast
Fast
Report.
Report?
It's
The
fast.
Fast Report. It comes out Thursdays.
The Fast Report. It's the Fashion Report.
Fashion Report. I've been making those. I've been recording some new Let's Play series. Working on some music. It's been a productive time for Andrew.
Okay. It sounds like you're absolutely thrilled about it.
What do you want me to do? Is this supposed to be Andrew Corner where I'm just like, check out the stuff that I'm super excited about, guys? Gonna sound like an overindulgent oaf.
Yes. And Austin, what about you? What have you been up to? And Austin's actually out of the call entirely.
I just got a message from Austin that he said my computer just froze.
All right.
Oh man.
So Chris in the comments letting us know that he cooked a turkey, and I would say, speaking of cooking turkeys, Austin's goose is cooked. And Andrew, are you drinking? Are you doing urine therapy again this week?
I am. This is a fresh batch that I whipped up last night.
Why does
This is
your urine always looks like applesauce,
a little-
like a pureed applesauce?
It doesn't when it comes out, but I have a very intense centrifugal process that I send it through to give it this texture.
Centrifugal.
Yeah, they say that it's a distilling process. They say if you drink the first pee of the day that it helps you maintain those vital nutrients. So I'm trying to figure it out, you know.
And we do have a very packed show tonight, and I would really love to include Austin in it.
Well,
and
wait,
hey,
as you're saying
all
it,
right,
is that him?
there's our
Could it
man.
be? He's
All
back
right,
with
and
his-
Austin, are you back with us? Can you speak?
Can you hear me?
We
he's-
can
yeah,
hear you.
there he is.
And Austin,
Alright.
just we are very short on time, so just real quick,
Uh-huh.
do you have anything worth sharing, any personal life updates? Because it is these personal updates that allow us to create a deeper connection with our audience.
Deep connection with the audience.
Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself.
All right. And Austin, topical as ever. But will Ghislaine Maxwell have killed herself?
Will she in the future have killed herself?
In the very
So-
near future.
Yeah, probably.
Does she have killed herself?
And I will say, in
Has
terms
she-
of...
Hmm?
Do I have any personal updates I want to share, aside from my new Trashcast merch?
Oh.
I also got this flag.
Is it
Can't see the flag yet.
flag?
Yes, did you get yours?
I did receive my pro Second Amendment flag.
All right. Well, we are very pro Second Amendment here on the Trashcast. But I will
Oh, that's
still shit on any of you little boogaloo boys because
That's very.
I can. So,
I've just received word that our stream has been canceled.
oh, eat shit, Zark
I'm
Muckerberg.
seeing angry reacts after you showed that flag off.
All right. Well, you
Probably
listen.
a bunch of liberal snowflakes.
all
am
you
I right?
haters can flag off for all I care.
Hey, they can flag this stream and remove it from all platforms.
No, that's not what I mean. That's not what I mean.
Huh?
All right, so I mean, it's been a crazy week in news, and I'm pulling up some stuff right now. The first story I want to cover, and we are so short on time this week. I'm not even going to do the news theme, but I will
All
stop and take one moment to say that this show certainly does back the blue.
I assume there's a visible pun.
Yes, I'm drinking a Labatt Blue.
Excellent.
Yeet!
Austin looks like he has a
You
natural
have
sepia
been
tone going
awarded
on.
3 Thin Boy points.
Austin
Yes,
does have a
that's-
natural sepia tone. It's called
I do.
warm lighting.
It's
Mm.
called a base tan. Happy summer, everyone.
like-
it's
but
August.
Your shirt and like hair and headphones match it. It's like I'm looking at a painting.
And we are so
Yeah.
short on time, and we did have a 30-minute pre-show discussion where we could have talked about Austin's lighting, and in fact we did, but instead we're wasting time, and we're so short on time tonight. We're so short on time.
That's true.
we
We don't
cannot
have a lot of
talk-
time.
It's-
We
we're in
cannot
a
be
real
talking
time
about
crunch.
Austin's lighting and Austin's hair and how long we've known Austin or how deeply we look into Austin's soul. We need to stop doing that, and we need to say, hey, 3 people were arrested by the city of Plattsburgh's police narcotics enforcement unit Wednesday on charges related to an ongoing investigation into drug sales in the Plattsburgh area.
I don't know
there's
if
a
I like
sale?
the drug sales.
93 Oak Street, Apartment C. During an execution of the search warrant, they found about 37 grams of fentanyl
Fuck.
and
Jesus.
9 grams of crack.
Huh.
Yeah. Billy Hendry, age 28, and Jessica Hendry, age 24. They were trying to move some weight in Plattsburgh, and instead they got caught with some Class E felony charges.
Felony.
Classy. Felony.
felony.
Both Hendrys have pending charges in Warren County for criminal possession of a controlled substance in the 3rd degree. Eric Alvarez, age 40, of the Bronx, was arrested and charged with 2 counts of criminal possession. I think Alvarez was with the people there in the apartment at the time. That man from the Bronx. And do we have anything we want to say about that? Because we're so short on time tonight.
I guess. I wish him the best. That's what I'll say.
Thank you.
I wish him the best.
My
That's all I
throat
can
is
say.
so dry.
How long were you wearing a mask today? Were you wearing the mandated amount of time of mask?
Man only wears masks around his chin.
Cuomo told me I had to wear the
Shouldn't do that,
mask for a mandatory 9 hours a day, and I do 45 minutes on, 15 minutes off
Okay.
from the moment I wake up.
Well, do you compact them though? So you wear it for like 7.5 hours straight, and then the last 2 hours of the day.
No. It's 45 on, 15 off, hour by hour.
All right.
I don't fudge the numbers, all right?
Well,
hey.
that makes you one of the good ones.
Well, speaking of wearing the mask and what it can and can't do, we currently have 10 active cases. We have 10 active cases in Clinton County.
10 active sex crimes.
Uh,
Oh, not that mask. Never mind.
are you guys freaked out?
10 active cases.
Yeah.
No.
It seems like
That's
some of
what-
them are stemming from the party in Altona, which we are going to talk about the Altona party.
Yeah, all right.
I'm voting for in November.
But what's
I heard about
interesting
that.
is,
I heard about that on another show, but
yes, and we will get
not
into
really
that,
fun.
and we will get into that. Like I said, don't give it away. Don't
Yeah,
give
we'll
it away.
shut
Give it
up
away.
after that.
Give it away now. Oh God. So we did not see a spike in cases after the No Justice, No Peace Walk for Change, and they keep calling it a Black Lives Matter protest. But I will say that the organizers of that event did not use the term Black Lives Matter as a banner for the march.
Huh.
And so I don't want to speak for them or their intentions, but I don't know. I have a little. I do have a bit of a qualm with them them continuing to refer to it as the Black Lives Matter protest, where it was a walk for change, which is two different ways to put it, and it's two different ways to talk about it in a media where people, something like a protest is a bit of a loaded word.
But then with the current name, it sounds like it's a charity fundraiser event.
Well,
Yes, but even that is much less triggering for racist idiots.
Triggered.
right. Yeah,
I've
it's
been
a
triggered.
real shame that there's the nonviolent, actually trying to be productive people, of which I assume is probably the majority, and then it kind of gets lumped into a sort of violent, rioting type.
Yes, and they do say here, and they call it the Black Lives Matter riot of 2020. I don't know, and it seems
wow.
very destructive for them to call it that.
Yeah, man, this media.
Yeah. No, but I am nitpicking a little bit, but I think if the organizers went out of their way to call it something specific and didn't call it the Plattsburgh Black Lives Matter march or protest, I think we should respect what they did and call it what it was, which was the No Justice, No Peace Walk for Change.
A subsidiary of the Black Lives Matter movement. No,
No.
don't. No, I'm just kidding.
And
message is brought to you
and
by
Black
the
Lives Matter is
supporters of Black Lives
controversial
Matter.
enough because I think that as a sentiment and as a statement and as a fact, it's very hard to argue with. But if you look into Black Lives Matter as in like the organizations that have incorporated under that name, there's a bunch of different organizations that have incorporated using that name, and it's not like they have any accountability, or it's not like they're all partnered in some network. It's
There's
a
no
banner.
oversight.
Yeah, it's like people can
Not, like,
use that
centralized.
term. Yeah, like legally they can use that for whatever they want, and if you give your money to a Black Lives Matter organization without checking the details on it, you have no idea where that's actually going.
Right.
So it's
it could just be me setting up a fake website to get your money.
and it could be, and I would not be surprised if there are some shithead opportunists who have done just that, because if you look it up, you'll see there's so many of them. I don't know.
I've been investing in Coin. Austin told me that it's going to be really worth a lot.
That's true.
eventually.
I did send you a link to the ICO, the initial coin offering, and you did well. It's gonna go to the moon.
I know
To the moon, baby.
The weekly dues are pretty stiff, but I know they'll pay off in the long run.
Oh, trust me, they will.
I did have to sell my guitar, my car,
To me,
and
I'll-
my wife.
once it goes up, I'll give them back.
You sold a woman?
Huh? No.
I gotta-
That's what I called. That's what I called my car. My wife. I'm married to the road.
I'm in love with my car. So I got a message from a viewer, a reader, a fan of the show. It
A
reads
witnesser?
as follows: Plattsburgh City School District has released their reopening plan, aka welcome back students to the pit of death.
That's really what they're calling it.
Yes, the plan features all of the current COVID best practices to prevent infection, such as using Kleenex and coughing
Not-
into your
not-
elbow.
Not going to
Kleenex.
pool. Don't gather in large groups in a building for many hours a day.
Do not talk at all.
But they're joking, but they are saying that seriously, the plan in a typical Plattsburgh fashion has avoided the state mandate to create a plan with family and stakeholder input, which offers no choice and is scant on real solutions to keep our kids safe. This plan is extreme compared to other districts in our county, in that all kids are required to attend Monday through Friday all day, and if you miss too many days, they're going to send a truancy officer to your home. So they're saying the plan sucks and families are pissed off, and they want to know if we can talk about that. And so I do have a PDF of the plan, and I'm going to open it in a new tab here. Oh, I can't. All right, they sent me a direct link. I am going to throw it into the chat, though. No, I can't throw it into the chat. Jesus Christ. They sent me a direct link to a PDF. But yeah, what do you think of that? I mean, we're not we don't own kids.
We don't.
I'm not currently in the possession of any children.
No, Andrew had to sell his kids to afford more Austie coin. But
It's true,
yeah,
they're mine.
they
They are
got-
mine.
They were doxxed in a local news article, and I was afraid of their
other
safety.
schools
Yeah, they did
are
reveal their ages.
other school districts are not having the kids in there for the full time. You know what I mean? They're doing a what am I trying to say? An amended schedule. You know,
They're
it's
sending the kids
like
to prison?
prorated time or like
yeah,
half a day.
they're there less. They're not there every day, all day. They're not doing the
Okay.
full 8-hour Monday through Friday, whatever. How long's the school day? 8 hours? 15 hours?
Yeah. It's
27
mentally,
hours?
psychologically 20 hours.
I mean, it feels like forever when you're looking at that clock.
Tell me about
Oh man, especially when the teacher calls on you and then you got to stand up, but you're having a hard time standing up in front of the class
it. Why?
because you have polio and the vaccine hasn't been invented yet.
Oh no,
Oh,
Matt! I always forget how old you are.
anyway, this sounds like if I was a parent with kids, it sort of feels like I've got guns pointed at me to make me do things with my kids I might not want to do
Yeah,
when it comes down to it.
but you know, if the schools don't open, Trump said he'll cut funding. So kids will schools will lose their federal funding if they don't open, and if they don't open in full. So it's like, I feel like the school also has a gun to their head, being asked to do things they might not necessarily want to do.
Just fuck it. Like nobody go to school ever again. I think that like I don't want to. Maybe I'm radical and I hadn't thought about this until right now. But maybe if just everyone doesn't do it, maybe this is the time that we can actually like get some education reform.
How would it be paid for if there was no federal funding?
I don't know. Fuck it. Come up with something else.
Okay, it is very clear to me that you haven't thought about this very much.
find the guys that are independently funding NASA and be like, yo, we need some help over here too, super billionaires, and then they can send some of their endless money to the educators, the real educators.
How about this?
YouTube.com.
How about this? We turn the kids into I don't think there's any child labor laws in space. Let's, instead of sending the kids to school, we put them in and
Hey.
have them like mine for moon rocks and shit.
Wouldn't that sound fun, little Billy? Come on, we're gonna go to Zartec 9.
So I mean, in all reality, I am looking to see what parents think about this. If you have a child in the Plattsburgh City School District, I'm curious what you think about this. I know some people who are taking their kids out of school entirely. They're going to start homeschooling, and that's one that we've discussed on the show.
We're gonna start doing homeschooling.
Yeah, we're gonna form a pod.
Austin has an ability to partially teach students. We could exploit that in some way.
All right, well, maybe we'll do that. Speaking of exploiting in some way, I'm going to bring up a photograph here that Andrew took of
Ooh.
downtown Plattsburgh, and I have it here on the stream. And so,
Is this the guy with his butts out?
yes, but you can't quite see him because he's behind this giant pile of trash.
Oh yeah, boy,
And
dude.
And so I did get a comment on this photo when we reposted it. Someone saying that is where the landlord of those apartments has tenants deposit their garbage for Monday pickup. I used to live there. This is a fairly recent trend for about 2 years, as these apartments never supported garbage pickup before, and tenants had to drive their bags to the landfill.
The
So
tenants were responsible for that?
yes, because there was no garbage pickup until recently, and then now they do have garbage pickup, and I am gonna take the photo out of here now. Actually, I'm
Oh,
just gonna make it
bye-bye.
smaller.
Yeah, can you make it smaller and put it like between Austin and I?
Between Austin and you, well, Austin,
Oh,
you
wait,
are
we
on
share a
two different
screen.
screens.
Yeah, I forgot. You're so super important on your own show that you get a permanent cam, and we have to share this one space up here.
That's only because if we have the camera on you for too long, we'll see that you're too busy checking your phone and completely blanking out on what's happening on the show, and it's not good for the viewer.
I don't know about that.
Well, look back at old episodes.
I don't watch this show. Yeah, so I walked by that. I think that was literally today.
Literally, it was.
Because Monday. Yeah, because Monday. Boy, did it smell bad. And
Right,
that
but
seems like
but
it does
yeah,
seem kind of ludicrous that I don't know what sounds crazy. I guess every apartment that I've had, like, it had garbage pickup.
well, and that's
is-
when the landlord pays for.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah,
But,
sorry, I'm just
Um,
now seeing how you're cropping the image of the garbage, so it'll stay there.
So
Um,
I don't know. So someone else commented, and I just want to touch on this comment here. Y'all obviously haven't been to bigger cities, LMAO. And I
mean-
said, I've been to plenty of big cities. They're disgusting.
They're also disgusting. Yeah. Would
I've
I
been to-
not have posted that? You know what? There's a lot of garbage right here, but there's even more garbage somewhere else. So I guess I won't take the picture.
God, you're so you clearly haven't been to San Francisco,
Like,
where
it's
they
like
literally have streets made of human feces.
I found a guy that's on fire, and he's like, "Help me, I'm on fire." I'm like, "Oh, you should see those guys in Italy. They're on fire a lot more." And then he's like, "You know what? You right," and he just walks off. Like, what?
What's
the thought
happening in
process
Italy?
there? Oh, they're on fire, dude. I don't know. I just picked a random country.
Are you talking about the Vatican burning down?
Is it burning down? If there's something related to fire in Italy, I'm absolutely not aware of it.
And Andrew did just admit to burning down the Vatican.
I didn't do it.
Austin, you've lived in a few different places in this city. Did you have garbage pickup, or were you responsible for driving it out to the landfill on your own?
I always had garbage pickup.
Yeah. I think that if the landlord wants to have people put their garbage out there and have it picked up, it seems reasonable to me to have it in a garbage can.
Yeah, it does seem reasonable. Does seem reasonable.
Like,
So-
can't you just? I don't know. I don't think all of those bags would fit in just one. But
No,
I'm
but
talking-
how
yeah, I
many
don't
how
know.
many apartments do you know that use just one garbage can?
None, literally
Right.
none.
So I would say it reasonably 3 or 4.
Yeah, and I'm sure like there's no way that Our House Bistro, I know they're canceled, but is happy about having a giant garbage pile on. Oh wait, are they open on Mondays? Maybe they don't care.
I don't know. They might if they are open, they're probably not open early enough for it to matter.
I'll get to the bottom of this. Well,
Well,
It's- it's certainly
I think I
not
just got to the
awesome.
bottom of it. They're probably not open early enough for them to care because garbage pickups in the morning and they only do brunch on Sundays.
but it's Mondays.
Right, and that's why I'm saying even if they are open on Mondays, they're probably not open early enough for it to matter. The garbage would be gone by the time they'd start doing business.
Okay. Now what do we talk about?
So I guess I'm just trying to say, is this cool or is this not cool?
I think maybe it's I don't know. I can't wrap my head around it.
I get that the garbage has to go somewhere while it's waiting to be picked up, but I don't think that in a giant pile on the sidewalk is the best place. And just because big cities do this sorts of thing, I don't live in a big city on purpose, and I don't love it. As a taxpayer, what do you think, Andrew? Did you love this when you saw it?
I didn't love it. I was more offended by the scent than I was by the visual. Which
Right,
is funny
'cause
that
You are
you'd-
drawn to giant sacks.
I am. So I have very poor vision, so as I was making my way up that really terrible hill on Bridge Street,
You were hoping
I said-
Santa Claus had stopped over.
I really thought Santa was coming early because it was just Christmas in July. I thought maybe it was a couple days late. I don't know. The pandemic's really hurting everybody, you know. But
I do
I was
know.
really bummed out.
All right. Well, we are so short on time, so I guess we'll just leave it at that.
Man,
But I did
short
want
on
to
time.
I wanted to update everybody on, we did post this picture, and someone said, hey, that's where we have to put our garbage while we're waiting for it to be picked up. And that's that they think that maybe there could be a better compromise. We have someone in the comments saying, is this the same building that kept garbage cans inside the hallway? And someone said, no, that is not the same building. So there is a building around the corner where they do have garbage cans in the hallway. And they wait there until they're picked up, so the garbage is now on the street. Seems reasonable.
I wish I could just throw my garbage out on the street. That'd be fun.
You can.
You can.
No, nothing's
you
stopping
can.
you.
You really can.
I suppose, except for legal
Try it.
penalty.
Yeah, there's no real penalty.
And there's no real way for them to tell that it was me,
No.
I'm so sorry.
unless they see all my Snickers wrappers and vape cartridges.
Now, speaking of Snickers wrappers,
Yeah.
I did want to bring up this other image here on the show. And I did post this to an Instagram story asking if this was too mean.
Oh, here it goes. This is my favorite.
Was this too mean?
Well, Matt, we have a lot of audio listeners only, so I think we should do our own due diligence to make sure
All
that
right,
we
well,
explain the image that we're seeing. on
Andrew,
screen here.
since you are the person who has I think Spicy Boy tattooed on your ass, why don't you tell them how this meme? Tell them all about this meme.
I won't confirm nor deny that, Matt Hall, but I will take this opportunity to explain the meme that we were seeing before us today. It is a popular meme format known as the Virgin versus the Chad, which the Chad began as like a thing that like was bad. It was a derogatory term for like preppy kind of sporty athletic guys, but it kind of became a term of endearment. I see Matt little peeking his head out under that little meme now.
I'm just listening.
So, in
I'm
this
down
image,
here now.
it juxtapositions two different entities, one being the Virgin and one being the Chad. In this particular instance, it's the Virgin Press Republican versus the Chad, TBN. And I'm not sure what that stands for, but a couple of the things that you can read here on the elements that describe the Virgin pre-re is post just one 25-minute poorly recorded podcast per week, keeps cutting down the number of days they will deliver their newspaper. That's true. I remember hearing about that. Spends a lot of their time, more time talking about candy bars and actual. They're doing actual journalism. That's rude. I could not endorse that statement. Over 18,000 page likes on Facebook, but posts consistently get 1 or 2 likes. Now, Matt, I did want to put that to the test. I was like, surely that can't be true. I verified it right on Twitter that happens to be the case, but it's actually on Facebook. They do have over 18,000 likes, and most of their posts only get 2 to 5. The Press Republican has to stir up arguments in the comics section to get interactions on social media, and puts all their content behind a paywall. Now, that's not entirely true, Matt Hall.
No, that's a bit of an exaggeration. Some of their content is not behind the paywall.
There are, and depending on how savvy you are with Google Chrome,
We don't need to get into that.
No, it's really a lot that's difficult to follow. Now, when we look in the other side of this image, we see the Chad TBN. Oh, and to describe the physique of the Virgin pre-re, it's a slender, kind of sulking gentleman. He's bald, he has glasses, and he's just wearing like a gray long sleeve shirt, gray pants, and he doesn't really seem to stand out very much. Conversely, the Chad is a man just absolutely decked out in enormous muscles, enormous pectorals. He's got quads for days. He has bright neon yellow shoes and green pants. He's looking good. He's got a TBN branded shirt that seems like he's either ripped the sleeves off or his muscles are just so large they busted through. And some of the things that it says to describe him, it says "Baby Go Boom." That's a popular motto and slogan, as one would say, of the TBN. Doesn't put anything behind a paywall, but people will pay to support their content. Now that I did verify, and you can verify that as well by going to patreon.com/.
TBN Plattsburgh.
Yeah, to verify that for yourself, as our Patreon members are totally transparent and open to the public to view. Live broadcasts, several hour-long podcasts every week, and has for years straight. Now you got that right. That's absolutely true. We got 2 years running. We are over 100 episodes. We haven't missed a single week. We're always on time, no technical issues, and boy, does that show sound great. It doesn't even eat candy bars because they aren't little kids. I'm gonna just choose to confirm that. Doesn't make stupid race baiting social media posts masquerading as polls. Now, that's another thing that I would have to say I agree with. I'm not familiar with every single post that's come out from the TBN, but I certainly haven't seen any of the race baiting. And almost last, but definitely not least, locally owned and operated instead of being owned by the Retirement Systems of Alabama. Now, Matt, I need to ask a couple questions about that one. That seems a little iffy. What's going on there?
The Retirement Systems of Alabama is the company that owns the Press Republican.
I'm very confused as to what the Retirement Systems of Alabama.
And we are so short on
Let's
time,
say.
but you can Google it.
All right. Well, the last thing to identify the Chad TBN is they're not doomed to become insolvent in the next 5 years. Which, I feel like once those words left whoever the author of this heinous meme posted, that may have prompted them to ask if if this meme was a little bit too mean,
It's a little too real.
All right.
a little bit too real, a little bit too
So anyway,
true.
so Press Republican, listen, babe. Listen, Toots. Sugar, I love what you're doing. All right, sweetie, it is so good. And one of my favorite things about the Press Republican and Austin, you're older than Andrew, right?
Yeah. Last time I checked.
And can you do do you know
25 3/4.
Do you know when in Wayne's World and they would do the is that Wayne's World?
I
And
think so.
Again,
right?
can you give me one of those right now?
Radical.
No,
I thought it was...
it's when they be oh no, when they go into like a flashback.
Yeah,
It's not
okay.
clear to me this thing.
It's like a flutter. It's like
Yeah,
yeah. If you have a rack of wind chimes, and it's like
no, but I mean very literally. I think they go with their fingers fluttering. Can you give me one of those? Keep going, keep going. Whoa, where are we? All right, we're done. And we have made the transition into the Please Pass the Press Pass podcast.
whoa!
So we didn't get to do this show on Friday when the second episode of the Press Pass podcast came out. If you don't know, a newspaper is doing a podcast. That's right.
Huh?
Press Republican
Wow.
has a new podcast called the Press Pass podcast, and we are doing a review of the show, a review and recap of the Press Pass podcast. We call it the Please Pass
You
the
idiot.
Press Pass podcast. So on this week's episode, and we are so short on time, I'm going to be very brief here. The crew returns, but this time they have the publisher, John Celestino,
Hey,
who is the publisher of the Press Republican. We also have in tow Mr. Ben Rowe, who's the night editor, the general manager, Joey LaFranca is the sports editor, and Joe LaTemplio is the general editor-in-chief or something. I don't know.
they're all a bunch of guys.
So I did listen to the show, and you know what's funny is that I kind of busted on Austin because you actually didn't get a chance to listen to the whole thing, did you?
No, I didn't. I listened to half of it, and I listened to it on 2x speed. So if I have talked about it, I have to talk about it at the speed.
Okay, well, I did listen to the whole thing, but I did listen to the final 20 minutes of it right before we did this show.
Okay.
So
It
I
was
too put it down to the
35
last
minutes long.
minute. So they said they're having fun learning. They all listened to the first episode. They had a good laugh. They agreed they should stop clicking their pen on the mic.
They did,
That's good.
But-
Yeah.
but Matt, the folly of that. They did stop clicking the pen, but within the first 5 minutes, maybe within the first 2 minutes, there was another text tone to go off on somebody's cell phone.
They do need to remember to silence their phones.
Did you hear mine earlier, by the way?
No.
Oh,
Okay, good.
But
Let's
So-
let's strike that comment from the record then
The-
when
the-
we go back and edit this.
The publisher of the Press Republican says that unlike any other media, they can broadcast this podcast far and wide because of their online audience. Which, like,
Online.
unlike any other kind of media, because we're online, we can put this podcast far and wide. It's like you already have a
What
website.
an advantage.
It's not.
But now that they have the podcast, they can go far and wide.
The internet goes all over the world. It's worldwide, this web.
Another really great quote from the show was, "I can't wait to cover more serious topics like maybe crime."
Maybe.
Another really great quote
Wait.
from the publisher of the newspaper. The publisher, he said that people in Plattsburgh are so far removed from things that are bad up here in God's country. Did you guys hear that when he said that?
I didn't. But then again, maybe it just flew by me so fast that I didn't understand what he was
Yeah,
saying.
so he said they're saying that the people in Plattsburgh are really nice, and part of the reason why is because up here in God's country, we're so far removed from things that are bad. What does that mean?
Yeah, what does that mean? In God's country, we're removed
In
from things
God's
that are bad.
country,
So
what-
we're removed from the workings of Satan,
Mhm.
I guess.
Thank God.
That's implied, right? Because of our distance from
our
them.
distance from what? What do other cities have that Plattsburgh doesn't have that
Hmm.
would make us?
Well, There's a
be-
few things.
I would say a lot of other cities don't have a 91% white population. I'm not trying to make it sound like this was some sort of weird
Do
Uh,
not question it.
racist coded language kind of thing, but that was the immediate red flag for me. Was like, whoa, what does that mean? Because like, what are we away from? Like
So
we have
vague.
so many other we have
Matt.
incredible rates of alcoholism and drug abuse and
That's
like
poverty
opioid
in general,
addiction and
working
poverty.
poor.
Yeah, it's like
maybe
what?
maybe he was expressing that he's
Mental
happy that we're
health
so far away
crisis.
from all the thugs. You know.
That's that's kind of what it sounds like to me. It does seem like and again I don't know.
All right, that's
It just seems like a racist thing a guy would say, and he's trying to not sound like a racist. Am I stepping on a line? Is that?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
I don't know. At very least, it seems like something that seems like the only thing that we don't have up here in Plattsburgh that other cities have, further downstate, is just a more diverse culture. I really think that's it.
Yeah.
We also have that sweet maple syrup. Boy, I love it up here.
Right, but I'm talking about things we don't have.
Man, we got maple syrup. We got the oak trees. We have the Adirondacks. Do you ever go kayaking? Beautiful.
Another really funny thing the editor said, and this would be easier to talk about if everybody had actually listened to the show, but so the publisher, Mr. Celestino, said he didn't realize how far up north we were until Brad said that he vacationed in Maine, and in order to reach Maine, he had to drive south from Plattsburgh.
You have to go south.
Who is Brad?
You know, Brad.
They don't tell us who Brad is. Also,
He's a nailer.
it was very interesting to me that somebody having to drive south to go to Maine was what tipped him off that we were very far up north. It wasn't the fact that we are on the Canadian border that gave him
Well,
any
that
idea of
winter
how north
lasts
we
for
are.
9 months.
Yeah, I didn't realize until Brad told me he had to drive south to vacation in Maine.
This guy just has no idea where he is.
They later went on to list a bunch of places that are about an hour-long drive from Plattsburgh.
Maybe he was confused. Maybe he thought they were in Alabama.
Mr. LaFranca asked Mr. Celestino, have you gone to Lake Placid? And the publisher says, once, I parked my car, walked around, and had lunch. And then and then Joey LaFranca says, oh, that's awesome.
It is kind
that's
of awesome.
That sounds like a nice time.
Celestino is from Philadelphia, and we get asked, he does declare himself a cheesesteak fanatic.
He did.
Mhm.
I remember
do
that.
remember
He-
that. I do remember
Uh,
You're
that.
asking
and do you guys remember
um,
where the best cheesesteak is? It is the cheesesteak here at this place is the meat is tender and there's no fat in it. Where is this cheesesteak from? The best cheesesteak in Plattsburgh from
I
a
think
self-proclaimed Philly cheesesteak fanatic.
You know, I've done a little bit of amateur food reviewing in the local area, but I want to give Austin a shot at the Authos.
Now
I wanna give Austin a
Andrew
shot
did
at
do
this.
the top the Plattsburgh cheesesteak tier list video, and in it you admitted that you didn't actually eat any cheesesteaks, but you still
I did-
ranked
I-
you still ranked every one.
I did mention I've never had a cheesesteak before. I don't see why that should stop me voting on which ones I think are the best. I think taste is not really the most important thing when you're trying to rate the overall quality of a food item. So yeah, so I have a couple hard opinions. I've done a lot of research on it, but I want to throw it over to Austin and see if he had any words before I steal the show.
Oh, it's probably at you know.
And we are so short on time. If you could just tell us where the best cheesesteak is locally. And we are so short on time right now.
It's
He's almost got it. He's thinking at the speed of light.
Michigan Plus.
What?
He said
Michigan's Plus. No, I
No,
don't know. Is
it-
it Michigan's Plus?
It was Pizza Bono. Pizza Bono has the
Oh.
best local cheesesteak. Shortly afterward, we get a joke talking about how intimidated Ben Rowe must be being surrounded by a bunch of Italian men.
I know I feel intimidated when I'm surrounded by a bunch of Italian men.
Yes, their scent overwhelms me, and all I can taste is their wild
Oregano.
Italian pheromones. They're about to end. They're
It all?
about to end this whole segment and move on. And he's like, "Oh, thanks for coming on. You know, it was good." And then Ben Rowe interrupts and he goes, "Hey, what's winter like in Philadelphia? Do you have a white Christmas?" Which seems like such a tender way to ask someone, like if it snows.
Yeah.
Does this snow?
How far away for you? How far away are you from?
Does this
bad
snow in
things?
Jersey?
I
they
don't
have-
think I've used the term white Christmas ever.
Really?
Do they have
You're not an
lizards?
old soul.
Are there lizards in Jersey? Because I like lizards.
Next up, we do get an update on the Candy Bar Stars bracket.
Whoa!
So we're in round 3 of a 32 team bracket. I'm gonna break it down real quick. Right now, the four contenders are, well, 4 matches. There's 8 contenders. Kit Kat versus Twix, Milky Way versus Crunch, Snickers versus Baby Ruth, and Hershey's versus the Butterfinger. Celestino says, as far as he's concerned, he doesn't think there is enough chocolate in the in the Candy Bar Stars tourney, which is odd to me because every single item has a chocolate base.
Yeah. There's not enough chocolate. Is it like this coconut?
Out of the bars there, and I feel like I'm. It's hard for me to talk about this if you guys haven't heard this, but what are the bars that you think are best out of the 8 I just listed? Again, they're Kit Kat, Twix, Milky Way Crunch, Snickers, Baby Ruth, Hershey's, and Butterfinger. If we had to pick one each.
I really like Twix.
All right.
I really like Twix as well. I also have I'm biased because I can't eat any nuts.
Ah. Now,
But I
Austin,
always love Twix so much.
I would say Twix or Kit Kat, although Twix is better than a Kit Kat. They're kind of similar, but
They
Twix
are.
is a little heartier.
It's got the caramel.
Yeah, it's got the caramel. So, a great quote here. I think this is from Mr. LaFranca. He says, "I gave Crunch a lot of praise last week. I mean,
Ooh.
what's not to like? It's chocolate. There's some rice involved. It's simple. And it's tasty."
And then someone said he didn't like Crunch. I remember that part, and it was controversial.
Yes,
was.
I think someone said the Crunch was absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, and those are fighting words.
Yeah, so it feels like they talk about candy bars for a fucking eternity. Eternity. It was only 6.5 minutes.
Oh, I think that's when I stopped. Was the
But
candy
that-
bar talk?
That didn't stop it from also fading out into a transition.
Yes, they did seem like they
Oh,
cut off
okay, yeah,
the
that's right.
they cut them off mid talk, so it probably did go on another 10 minutes after the mic's cut. But next
Now,
up we have
Matt,
what?
You're from Syracuse. Does it like get really hot there in
So
the summer?
I was trying to transition to a different part of this talk, but I will say we do have warm summers in Syracuse.
All right,
Yep.
that sounds cool.
So the
Awesome. That's awesome.
the next section we have a staff writer Mackenzie Delisle is the guest, and she is clearly very nervous.
Yeah. Now that you mention it, she seemed it was her first time, kind of in the rat race.
in
She's
the Italian man pit.
in the Italian man pit.
Do you think she just sounded so intimidated and
Masked up.
nervous because there were so many Italian men around her?
I would feel that way. What do we call what's the new plan to open up the school? The death pit? That's where
The
she
death
was.
pit.
The Italian death pit.
Hey.
Joey L gives what he calls a shameless plug for the fishing tournament, which I thought he was going to promote the fishing tournament, and he just says, "There's a fishing tournament, and if you see a lot of boats around Plattsburgh, that's why."
That's why.
It's like that's
Yeah.
not a plug.
He didn't give any details.
He said it's this weekend.
They're a news outlet. They can plug that, and it would be not a shameless plug. It's a plug.
Right, it's
They're
the kind of
idiots,
thing
that's
where
what they do.
I don't mean to bust on them so hard, but it's very clear that they're just nervously talking because they'll say like, "Oh, I'm gonna give a shameless plug for this tournament. There's a tournament this weekend. If you see boats, it's because of a tournament." It's like, you're nervous. You gotta cool out. You should have a little puff, off of I don't know, like a marijuana vape pen, and
You
just
see
chill
a
out.
If you see a kind of pudgy middle-aged man with a white goatee's face plastered onto the side of a boat, that's because there's a fish tournament going on this
It's
month.
because there's the fish concert this weekend.
There's a fish concert.
So the other thing that really at this point they talk about the Altona party. Apparently there's an enormous party in Altona on July 17th, and we did have I think 3 COVID cases break out of there, and they're worried that there's more to come.
Well, that's why we couldn't do the show last week, right? 'Cause you guys wanted to
It
go to
was
that
because
party?
because we had COVID.
Yeah. Well, I already had.
You had
I already
COVID.
had COVID,
Oh, okay.
and I went there knowing I had it,
Yes,
thinking it
But-
would be a good bit.
But you were feeling okay.
I was feeling better.
he was asymptomatic.
I was
Oh,
off
okay.
the oxygen.
So
Entirely.
Yeah, I was not breathing anymore.
Joe Latemplio makes a point to say he knows that some people think the virus is a hoax, which I think he said last week too, which I really enjoyed. He's just like, look, I know
Dog
some
whistling.
of you some of you think it's a hoax, but he does say, and Andrew pointed this out as well. He goes, I think everyone in this room has been on the front lines of this COVID virus, so to speak.
So to speak. Yeah, in theory, because
We're
we've
all
been
corona
reporting it.
patients.
I think all of you are decorated veterans in the war on Corona, so to speak.
So to speak.
so to speak.
We also-
I
I'm a corona patient
I
and a new
definitely-
job.
My friend's a Marine, so him and I kind of been on the front lines of this whole war, in theory, kind of. And I want to goof on him harder because that did really upset me. But it's like he probably is just really nervous and like is trying really hard not to say something stupid. I know
But that
what
is a
that's like.
stupid thing to say. But
It
the other
was.
stupid thing was they said at the Black
Very-
Lives Matter protest that they saw some what they called pretty appropriate behavior, which also just struck me as an odd quote. They were talking about how people were basically wearing masks, but they said, yeah, I think at the Black Lives Matter protest we saw some actually pretty appropriate behavior.
Oh,
Also-
it's supposed to imply that is not the.
It doesn't
the
imply
status quo.
anything. Also, in the middle of Mackenzie finally talking, because she
Do
doesn't
not question it.
she doesn't speak unless spoken to in this whole interview.
Much like most of the guests we've had on this very show.
Yes, a robot comes out of nowhere
had
and says, "It is 6 o'clock."
Wait, really?
Yes,
I wish I got to that.
and they just like she's like, "Sorry, I totally lost my train of thought." Like it completely derails what she was trying to accomplish.
And it's 6
That's-
o'clock now.
That just makes me sad.
She
It-
also
it-
says
it-
that contact tracing sounds like a lot of hard work.
I'm.
Yeah, I'm sure it
It
is.
would-
You get
I-
paid
I-
well for it. That's probably why.
I do think I wish Austin had got to that part because she seemed like she was just rampant with nervous energy. So she was speaking really fast, trying to get all these points out, but she was trying not to lose her train of thought, and she's making sure she doesn't stumble on her words, saying a lot of stuff. So I can only imagine what that sounded like at
Oh man,
double speed,
I guess I'll have to finish it.
1.5 speed.
Yeah, it was a lot to handle. So the last thing I want to mention here is that the show is no longer behind a paywall. It is officially free. Although
Nice.
with the way the Press Republican website is, they knock the articles out of the front page, and there's no like read more to go to the second page of articles chronologically. You know, like there is on most websites. So once it's off the front page, it's almost impossible to find a link to it.
Oh. Do you think that's
Oh,
because
okay,
of
that's
us, regardless?
Do I think what?
Do you think that it's free because of us?
And how most other podcasts are free.
Well,
I-
we also, I mean,
I did-
I'm asking,
I
does
did tweet.
bullying work?
I tweet at them and said, "Is this going to come out from behind the paywall?" They didn't answer me, but they did bring it out from behind the paywall.
Okay, so bullying works.
And also, I think Steph pointed out that the was a dream sequence. That's what they were going to.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if we could just have a little transition back into reality right now.
Can I do it?
Yes. Whoa, and we're back. We're back,
Oh,
and
man, I'm dizzy.
Oh.
I'm gonna puke.
I smell something like right up here.
Oh, I left my
Ugh.
garbage. I left my 7 garbage bags out in the hallway.
A couple
I'm
other
sorry.
points, and if you notice, we are fucking around. I said we're short on time, but it's actually a pretty slow news week. Scott Beebe did come out saying that he does not support the current DRI plan. He doesn't like the payment in lieu of taxes necessarily. He thinks that it's too generous, and he thinks that there's he's heard the concerns about the lack of transparency and everything. Yeah, so I'd like to hear more. He does give some a minor take in the Press Republican this week, but also he doesn't so much say how he feels as he echoes what his constituents have expressed to him, or his soon-to-be constituents possibly. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So fucking
People.
tired of the mayoral race.
Already.
It has barely happened.
I'm so
That's the mood.
beaten down by all this stuff. I can't keep all the information together in my head. I struggle to remember the timeline of events. I struggle to remember who's running on and what and what party. And it's only like 4 dudes.
Yeah, and we
Kind
barely
of.
talked about it.
Yeah. So that means BB is, at least it seems anti-DRI
Yeah.
development.
And
Is Chris pro? Has he indicated he is
Chris finally
explicitly
came out,
pro?
and when we say anti, we mean we're against the current proposed plan of putting that big building in there. And Chris has said he also opposes the plan in its current state.
Okay, in the current state.
Yeah. He didn't really speak on it for a while, and then he finally came out and made a hard stance on it.
All right.
It was a pretty hard stance.
So that means both frontrunners seem to want it to change in some way.
Yeah, and Andrew, just to help clear things up for you, there's really only 2 guys. There's the incumbent Mayor Reed, who nobody's going to vote for probably, and he lost the nomination of the Democratic Party. It's Chris
Yes.
Rosenquist and Scott Beebe.
Yeah.
It's 2 guys.
But I guess just the everything total. I understand that to that extent, but just leading up to it with Tenzin was in the race, but there was things with that. Miles N. Davis, was considering election. We have
He
I know
dropped out
Trump
pretty
was
early.
there. Yeah, and then there was we had Chris Rosenquist. It's just I don't know all the things that I've heard. I try to keep mostly in the know. Because so I don't sound like I know I always sound like a fucking idiot on the show, but I try to at least kind of know what's going on. If I didn't do this show, I probably wouldn't give a fuck, honestly. And
But
just
you do
trying
seem like you
to-
just listed everything. I think you're exaggerating a little bit how much there is.
I could be, but I guess just like in addition to those main points here, I'm also like attached to that. The tags in my mind are like my friends who feel like that have expressed their opinions about these different guys to me, how they feel, their personal experience with those people, and like just all of it together. You know, what we mentioned on the show, what we haven't mentioned on the show, stuff like that. I can't do politics like this, man. Like in my regular, like obviously I can handle this, but like I would not be drawn to doing this.
You can
without
remember
without a
like
provocation.
every member of Slipknot, all the different masks they've ever had, and their favorite cereals.
Yeah,
But you can't remember two guys and their basic platforms.
that is essentially what I was saying. Yes.
Well, lucky for people like you,
Do
we
not
are going to be
question
making a convenient voter's guide for the mayoral election where you can look at issues that concern you. Thank you. Thank you. And
He's very
and,
happy
and you
about
can
that.
see where each guy lines up on those specific issues.
Can we call it the Vote or Die Voters Guide?
N-
Can we call it vote or
no.
pass?
I'm
Hey.
actually gonna call it. I'm feeling very. I ate a sausage sandwich and it made me feel voted. I'm trying to use voted as bloated.
Okay.
Vote
Any
or
results?
die. And what did you call it,
May
Austin?
cause severe voting. Oh, I said vote or pass.
Vote or pass.
That's a good one.
I'd like to call
Austin
it votesy.
Ooh,
Vote-see,
SE?
like Banksy?
No, it's
Oh,
like
yeah.
goatsy.
Oh, I see.
I see.
Another quick bit of
I
news
see.
here, and that's
I
gonna be
see.
something that we're gonna be putting out hopefully next month. So I'm gonna start collecting info throughout the month of August, polling people on what questions they have, what issues that are affecting them, and then reaching out to the front runners in the mayoral race and seeing how they feel about those things. And we will put it in a. There'll be some print versions. There'll be an online version. It'll be a thing you can check on your phone when you're in the voting booth if you need to like double check. But politics should not be as overwhelming as it seems, and hopefully we can give people some tools to help them make it more manageable. That's the hope. To
make
to
it
improve
all
civic
manageable.
engagement. Speaking of engaging, the parking officer's back.
Hooray!
So
Can you
they
get the cheer sound effect?
they were furloughed back in April, and they returned on Friday.
Oh man, I can't park in the middle of the street anymore.
So something that somebody brought up was that back in the day when they were doing paid parking, one of the reasons why they didn't maintain paid parking was because it didn't generate enough revenue to pay for a full-time parking attendant. What is it called? Parking officer? Yeah, parking officer. You know, to enforce the paid parking.
I am the parking officer.
Do you see the irony in this? I'm feeling very off tonight. I feel like I'm saying
Wait,
stuff
so-
and getting no reaction.
I'm sorry, I blame the Heineken. No, so basically,
was
it just
non-alcoholic.
wasn't making enough money.
Right,
It was
it-
like a weird little circle.
Yeah,
or-
right.
or a-
So you put in the paid parking. You have a parking officer to enforce the paid parking to make sure people are actually doing it right, and not going past their limits. And then you're not making enough money to pay that person to do the job. So the whole thing is a
Yeah.
little snake eating its own
just
tail.
falls apart.
Yeah.
Right. So it seems like.
Seems like we
Like,
could be in
what-
that position again.
Oh, okay. I wonder what the next step would be. Just hope that people pay and don't have an officer put parking meters.
I don't know. Mayor Reed says here, I think the only reason that we want a parking enforcement officer is to improve a parking problem. Certainly, the businesses in the city of Plattsburgh do not perceive that there is a parking problem right now. They perceive there is a customer problem right now. Well, Reed said he'd love to see a time when finding a parking space became an issue downtown. Because of COVID, he didn't think the city was there yet. He said, this is going entirely in the wrong direction. I apologize to the city of Plattsburgh residents for the tickets that will be appearing on their windshields. And I ask that they adjust their behavior accordingly. I think we're going to have some very upset business people for very good reason. He's basically saying people are going to not like that we're doing this, but we got to do it.
No. If it's a good idea, I appreciate that.
Councilor Patrick McFarland said, clearly, the city of Plattsburgh and the downtown does not have a parking capacity problem. The problem is there parking where you want it, near where you want to go? And on-street parking has been a little hard to find. Our parking spots near our businesses are being more congested because tenants and people who want to park their cars there for a long time are going to park there instead of the lots where there is a lot of capacity. I do think that is the point of the parking enforcement officer. So it's that people are not going to be, taking the fucking convenient on-street spots and instead go to the city lot where there's room. And maybe it's a little less convenient. Maybe I'll walk a little more, but you're going to be getting a G-dang ticket
Yeah.
in a
I
minute.
don't want no G-dang ticket.
Hey, I don't either. That's why I don't have a car.
So that's what they're going to be cracking down on now.
That's going to be the main thing they're cracking down on, yeah. Is people abusing the on-street parking. Because
On-street.
isn't there like a 2-hour limit?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Or less.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Scoop.
Last thing I'll mention is the City Common Council has authorized its Corporation Council and Planner to schedule a joint public hearing between Plattsburgh and the City of Plattsburgh and the Town of Plattsburgh. We are trying to
Joint what
figure
hearing?
a joint pubic hearing. So the topic of discussion
Ah.
would be the city's attempted annexation of the 230 acres of property that now sits within the town's jurisdiction.
Oh man, this is still going on.
Yes, actually, so I thought, wow, we talked about this like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
This article says it actually goes back to 2005.
Holy moly.
Yeah. So there is a plot of land that's in the town of Plattsburgh that the city of Plattsburgh wants to utilize. Yeah. And it's been going on and on and on and on for years, and they're not really anywhere, but they are getting closer to getting somewhere, hopefully. Through cooperation, which has been almost impossible. If you remember some of the catty remarks that were going on back and forth between the town and the city.
I remember.
Yeah, a lot of fighting.
There should be just a civil war.
Hey, maybe there will be one day.
Not on a grand scale. I'm not talking
No,
national.
you just mean locally between the
Locally,
town and the city.
Town and the city match up
A city war, if you
over
will.
a city war. City of war.
Avengers. Civil
City
War. Avengers Endgame War.
Bazinga.
Avengers Bazinga War. And I do want to stop and thank our sponsor for tonight, Lids.com. Andrew is rocking the snapback from Lids.com.
Shout out
I-
to Lids.
I do have the signature Barack Obama shooting a shotgun button lid snapback, and I appreciate them for supplying me with the product.
And I would love if you guys could send me a couple more hats. None of the hats you sent fit my enormous melon, and I am pissed. And it does make me feel insecure when I try to put on a hat and it just won't go on my head. It does make me feel very weird. Very, very weird.
He tries to put it on, then he yells "fuck" and he throws it down and he starts banging his head off the wall, which doesn't help because then it starts to swell.
Yes. It's very
Puts out a
upsetting.
hole in the wall. He's running out of drywall to put holes in.
So anyway, one other thing I'll mention is that we did lose a patron. We're only at 49 patrons now.
No.
But
Fuck!
I can't figure out who it is.
I can't. You're gonna track them down.
I don't really
Send them-
care.
Send them some emails.
I'm sure that they stopped being a patron because of some horrible thing we said.
Oh yeah.
Or they just can't afford it
We've been
anymore in
pretty
these COVID
horrible.
times.
And the last thing I'll mention, even though I keep saying it's going to be the last thing, and I'm bringing it up on the screen here, is this. Do you guys see what this is? This is the
Not
cover.
Yeah, in a moment.
This is the cover for the 4th issue of Trashberg Comics. Now, yes, we did rebrand
Whoa!
our page, but Trashberg lives on in our hearts, in our merch, and in our comics. So,
Wow,
you
what the fuck is going on that cover?
Oh, that's great.
so this is actually a wraparound cover by one Dominic Monette. I think Lydia Monette did the colors, and it's actually a wraparound. So the scene extends onto the back.
Whoa. I'd like to see the back.
And, well, you can see it in person on August 22nd. We'll be having a release event outside of
Way.
City Hall place, 30 City Hall place at City Well. We usually do like a little artist market and release party, but this time around we don't want to deal with the public because of the global pandemic.
Wink, wink.
So the scamdemic. So what we're going to be doing instead is we're going to have a little tent outside where you can come up. We will have a photo op. There will be a backdrop where you can take a photo, and you can pay $5, get your book, and get the fuck out. And that's that. 5 p.m. to
That
7
sounds-
p.m.
Oh,
on
yeah.
Saturday, August 22nd. So this is
Mark your
36
calendars.
36 pages, full color, and the other books were, they were smaller. They were 5.5 by 8.5 inches. This is a full 8.5 by 11 inches. This is a
And if you
full
don't buy
magazine
one-
size.
If you don't buy one, you're gonna wake up with a T-Rex head in your bed.
That's true. That's a threat, and that's a promise. And now I do want to say, people have been asking me, can I still get issue number 0 or issue number 1? No, you can't. They're sold out. So,
They're gone.
if you want this one, and Andrew, what are you looking at?
I got my. Hold on, I'll show you.
Okay. So, yeah, those books are gone forever.
I got my issue number 1 right here.
Hey, look at that. Yeah, we have no more of those left.
Fuck.
And issue number 4 will definitely sell out as well, because they pretty much have all been selling out eventually. And that's that. Oh, it's up for pre-order right now at trashberg.com. Damn, and there is another thing. I'm sorry, I keep saying we're so short on time that I keep bullshitting.
Well,
But,
just hurry it up.
This is the plugs
Matt.
section of the show, okay? We've talked about the
I'm gonna
news.
plug it.
Are you just gonna throw a plug out like that?
Well, there's a fishing tournament.
Oh.
I'm sorry. It's such a shameless plug on my end.
Shameless.
It's such a shameless strangers plug. You guys watch that show, Shameless?
No, but I've
Yeah.
listened to the Shameless Strangers.
Silicon Valley.
So we have also these trash cast stickers, which feature our lovely mugs, are on sale right now at the
Oh, man.
Trashberg website as well, trashberg.com.
These are rare. These are vintage.
Yeah, there's not
Those
many
are
of these
rare.
left. These are actually selling. There's only a handful of these left.
I like that there's the trash bag on the police badge.
I thought it was a turd at
that's-
first.
Still
Big
very relevant.
turd.
Yeah,
I think
but-
they're great. I love them so much. I don't know. I don't want to take them off the paper, but I don't know where to stick them.
Well, I'll tell you, because I'm gonna pull this up real close, because the stickers they're not super small, but they're not huge either. And my eyesight's not the greatest. I'm gonna blow this image of the city police badge up. I thought it was a turd with a fish buried in it, and there was that's like the fish tail sticking out of the turd.
You ever take a big fish shit?
Well, I do often eat an entire whole fish.
Oh, okay.
Roll.
Bone
But,
and all.
but can you see how I kind of thought that was a turd with a fish sticking in it?
At a glance,
I
yeah.
can see it.
I quickly, realized it was a trash bag, and
Like
then
seal poop.
I did forget it was a trash bag, and I thought it was a poop again.
I'm seeing a comment saying
The
to
gift
keep
that
the logo
keeps
on.
on
Austin's
giving.
Keep
hat.
the logo on Austin's hat.
Is it the Naruto?
Hey, look at that.
What is it?
This is
put
the
it-
sign of an artist who works in digital, is making details so small the naked eye would never see them. It's a Mountain Carol logo.
Whoa!
Oh,
Is that an Easter egg or what?
wow.
I don't know. I've never seen him wearing a hat like
Amazing.
Look at that. And look,
That's
and
cute.
also,
But I take back any snide comment I ever made about not owning a green hat due to this little carefully constructed Easter egg.
look how serene Austin is here.
that. He looks really at peace.
This is Austin taking his mandatory 6-hour nap every day.
Yeah, true.
Government
I
regulated.
sleep 12 hours, and then after about 2, I wake up, I have a cup of coffee. Then it's time for the mandated 6.
All right. And is there anything? I feel like I'm just bullshitting at this point. Is there anything else we want to talk about before we head out of here?
I don't know. Check out Hidden Machine.
Check out Hidden Machine. Also, have you guys seen that there's a new shop opening up at 23 Clinton Street called The Big Scoop?
Scoop. Yeah, I did. I walked past it today.
I think it's an ice cream shop.
Yeah, so I saw,
ice cream shops.
saw a bunch of big Italian guys in there, and I got scared.
God. Oh, I wish you didn't say that.
Ugh, the
I just
pit
got
of
so
hell
scared.
death.
You got
You know,
so
this makes me
worried.
think
I
of,
felt like I was in the Press Republican lunchroom or wherever the fuck they do their podcast.
the bathroom.
The
the
bad
good old
room.
days. Summer brings higher ice cream sales.
I could leave us with a tale that. Oh, that was a
Remember the
very
good old days?
article.
If anyone doesn't get that reference, there was a Press Republican article where they discussed how when it gets warmer out, we see a spike in ice cream sales in the region.
That was last year, last summer.
And that is why we make fun of them. It's stuff like that.
Got to keep the gears moving.
But what you were gonna say something, Andrew?
Oh yeah, I guess I can leave us on a story of terror. I was horrified today. Do you guys want to hear about it?
Not if it has anything to do with Italian men. I feel like we've and listen, I have Italian heritage. Okay, I can make all these jokes, right? I can say the W word if I want to.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to.
Is that
Good.
like?
Appreciate that.
What do you
'cause I also have
want?
Italian heritage.
No. But go on.
Well, I was doing a little photo shoot back here in my room, and keep your eyes
Gross.
peeled, folks. You'll know what that was for sometime soon. And so I had to get into this
Why
closet
do you
behind
say
me.
it like a threat?
What? Keep your eyes peeled.
Keep going.
Yeah, you watch your back. But I had to get in there because I have a lot of props in a thing in there, and I had to like reorganize a stack of boxes. Anyway, I put them back in. I finished the shoot, and like a couple hours later, I was working on a video. Actually, I was working on the new Andrew Says that you can check out this Thursday at 5:00.
Whenever it
Friday?
happens.
Whenever
It's
it
every
happens.
Thursday.
Thursday.
No set time
And,
though.
Midway through editing it, I heard this huge boom noise, and like it sounded like crashing, and I was fucking horrified. And I looked behind me, and like these it's like a 2-door thing that my closet. It just slowly burst open, and stuff started falling out of it. And I was absolutely horrified. I was so scared that a monster was actually finally coming out of my closet that I was frozen solid. I didn't react at all. I just sat there frozen staring at it, but it just the way I'd stacked the boxes made it like it just had fallen a couple hours later.
You said
it
it. It slowly burst open, which leads me to
Yeah.
believe that it actually burst open very quickly as a burst would occur. But you were so scared that your perception of time slowed down, and you were in a Matrix / Max Payne bullet time state of
Yeah.
euphoria and fear.
Have you guys seen that transcended reality and messed with my perception? It's like have you guys seen that video of Trump when he has like the eagle or the hawk on his desk and it like flutters away and he like shudders and he like winces and tries to move away from it with absolute fear? That's exactly how I felt in that moment.
Kristen doesn't let me watch any videos about Trump. She said it gives me too many bad ideas.
Oh, okay. I lost a friend
Too
once
bad.
because I listened to Korn and their mom said that was a bad influence on them. They later went to prison for sexual crimes.
All
and
right. Good
Here I
night.
am.
All right.